Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome once again to our technical English lesson. This is our third revision, and our lesson is on suggestions and indirect questions. In this lesson, we're going to revise and practice 1. 3 ways of suggesting a solution. 2. Forming and using indirect questions. In our first revision, we looked at how to express possibility and certainty when diagnosing a problem. After diagnosing a problem, we may need to offer or suggest solutions. Let's look at 3 ways of suggesting solutions. Number 1, try plus verb with ing. For example, try clicking on the undo button. So, try is followed by a verb with ing. Number 2, why don't you? For example, why don't you click on the undo button? Why don't you is followed by the base form of the verb click. No endings, no ed, no ing, and no s. Number 3, could. For example, you could click on the undo button. Could is also followed by the base form of the verb, no endings, and usually preceded by a subject. So now let's take a look at some questions. Number 1, try space more water in the radiator. Since we have try here, we know that our verb must have ing. So C is our answer. Number 2, if the gear is not working, you space move it to the right. Notice that we have the base form of the verb here. So let us look at which one of these is the correct option. Shall is not, will not, could is our answer, because if it's try here, the verb must end in ing. So our answer is C. Number 3, why don't you, the security level. We know that why don't you must be followed by the base form of the verb. So B, lower, is wrong. Lower looks like our answer, but let's look at the other options. Lowering, this ends in ing. Lowered is not the base form of the verb, so our answer is B. Number 4, I suggest you space having some courses. Here we have the verb is having, ending in ing. So we cannot have could, cannot have don't, will. So the answer is try. Try having some courses. And the last question here, if you feel sick, why at home today? We know that since we have why is why don't you plus the base form of the verb. So why don't you stay? This looks like our answer, but let's go over the other options. Why don't you stay? It's not the base form here. Why don't you stay in? It's not the base form. Why you could stay? This doesn't make sense when given making suggestions. So our answer is A. Good. Now let us look at indirect questions. Now we have a direct question, what is their position? And the indirect question, I need to know what their position is. Another direct question, where are you? Please tell me where you are. Another direct question, how deep is the river? I need to know how deep the river is. Now, what do you notice about the indirect questions? One, the word order is the same as in the affirmative sentence. So now, the indirect question starts with a phrase. Then the question word followed by subject, then a verb, just like we have in the affirmative sentences. The same thing here. Please tell me, a phrase, question word, and then subject plus a verb. The same thing here. A phrase, question word, subject plus a verb. So number two, you don't use a question mark. So they are just like statements that is prompting somebody to answer. So we don't use question mark in indirect questions like these. So now let's take a look at some questions. Please tell me. So now we have the phrase, so we know we're going to need a question word followed by subject and then a verb. So now we have the question word here, but we have a verb here, so wrong. Where was your school? Question word, verb, wrong. Here we have where your school is. So now question word, subject, verb, looks good. But let's go to D. Where is school? Wrong. So our answer is C. Number two, I need to know what. Okay, now we have the phrase here, we have the question word, so we need to have subject and verb, just like in the affirmative sentence. So we have verb here and subject, no. Your name is. Your name is, so subject and a verb. Your is name, doesn't make sense. Name is your, doesn't make sense. So our answer is B. We have subject and a verb. And the last question here we have the odometer measures. Okay, so we need question word, subject and a verb. So we have how far he is. Yes, we have question word, subject and a verb. This looks good. Now let's go over the other options to make sure. B, how far is he? We have verb before the subject, so this cannot be. How far he is? Well, we have question word, subject and a verb, but we have a question mark here. So to be the answer, how far he is. We have a question mark here as well. So A is our correct answer. Thank you very much for watching. Let us just sum up what we've revised. We've revised 3 ways of suggesting a solution using try plus verb ending in ing, why don't you, and could. And also we revised forming and using indirect questions. Thank you for watching. Hope you will be with me in another lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.